Okay. Can I get one, Daddy? Okay, so let's do 1, 2, and 3 together. Or 3 separately. Do 1, 2, and 3. Try to do it by yourself. 1, 2, and 3. So that will be our review.
It sounds like you're having a test. Like so quiet and like right? You can have You have a new just give us that. You don't have to do it. Just
So we're going over 1, 2, and 3 right now. That was review from last week. No problem if you don't know. So we're going over 1, 2, and 3. This is what we reviewed last week, or what we went over last week.
To soften my heart and break me apart, I need you to open my eyes, see that you're shaping my life. All I am,
So I'll print more right now, and then if you need more, can you go grab them? It's gonna be upstairs. Hold up.
that you're good, your love is great. I'm broken inside, I give you my life. I need you to soften my heart, to break me apart. I need you.
You guys ready?
To pierce
Finish?
through the dark.
All right.
And cleanse every part of me.
All right. So once again, this is review. So let's go over our main Bible text for this whole series, question and answered. And if somebody asks you about your hope as a believer, always be ready to explain it. But do this in a gentle and respectful way. Okay? So I told you guys there's 2 purposes for you guys to, the reason why we're doing this series. The first reason is if you guys have questions, hopefully you guys will have some answers to some of your questions that you guys have. But the second part is also that you learn these things and you teach it to other people. Because there's going to be a lot of your friends who have very similar questions about religion and about Christianity. All right, so we went over this concept called coexist. Some of you guys have seen this in bumper stickers and things like that. Okay, what's their philosophy? They believe that all religions are superficially different. Right? So on the outside, it's different. But fundamentally the same. Very good. Okay? So they basically say, okay, some people say Allah, some people say Yahweh, some people say God. Okay? We all have different names for it, but in essence, they're all the same God. Okay? Again, that's not what I'm saying, but that's what these coexist movement, this is what they believe. And that's why they say, hey, we need to all get along. We need to stop evangelizing. We need to stop saying Jesus is the only way, or things like that. Okay, we need to stop saying these kind of things. So that's why we are studying different religions, right? We're saying, okay, fundamentally, are they really the same? Okay, because people say that, but it's like, did they really study these religions, or are they just reading Reddit and watching YouTube videos and just saying that because other people are saying it? All right, so we're going over the fundamental questions: origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. So last week we went over Buddhism. So for Buddhists, where do they say that we human beings come from? Okay, same as Hindus.
We're part of God.
Okay, we were all part of God, and then what did God do? God separated himself from the beginning, so we are all essence of God. We are all God. Okay? So they would say we are all part of God. For some reason, God decided to separate himself. Okay? What's the meaning of my life in Buddhism? Okay, reaching nirvana. But a little bit more, that's the end goal. But why reach nirvana? Like, how do I reach nirvana, I guess? No, I guess that's actually pretty good. Yeah, to recognize basically that you're God. Because we keep forgetting. We keep thinking that we're just human beings. We're just a physical thing. But according to Buddhism, they say, no. Remember, we're all essence of God. We just need to remember that we're God. And we get there by reaching nirvana. All right. So morality. What is good? What is bad? Okay, the Eightfold Path. Okay, so there's a thing called Eightfold Path. So, okay, before that, according to Buddhists, why is it that I'm not reaching nirvana then? I'm not reaching my godness. Do you guys remember what the reasoning behind it was? It was because, okay, how about this? Why do I suffer in Buddhism? According to Buddhists, why do I suffer?
You're connected to a lot of
Not connected.
You're not.
Not connected, but another word. Connected seems, it's not as negative. It's a negative attachment. Yeah. Okay? It's because we're attached to things. We're attached to the earth, so-called not earthly, the physical things. Okay? And so what we have to do is we have to disconnect. We have to detach. Okay? The reason why we suffer, the reason why we can't reach nirvana is because we're attached to all of these things. So the Eightfold Path, these are 8 different ways you control your body so that you can detach. So you control your mind, you control your speech, you control your desires, you control your appetite. Okay, why do you do that? Because the better you could control these things, the better you could detach from these things as well. Okay? And then last one, destiny. What happens after I die? Right, reincarnation, which means after I die, if I don't reach nirvana, then I restart again. Because remember, God doesn't die. We're all gods, we don't die. Okay? So hopefully that was just a review for you guys over Buddhism. All right. So once again, we went over pantheism. Both Hinduism and Buddhism, they're both called pantheism. Okay? Pan meaning all. Theism means God. So all is God. Everything is God. All of us are God. Now we're going to go to theism. Okay? What was the difference again between pantheism and theism? Okay, pantheism, God is everywhere. Then theism is what? What was that? Not one God. No, that's monotheism. There's polytheism too, but that's within theism. So it's not just one God, but it's what? Now God exists. Of course God exists, but yeah, there's a differentiation between God and creatures. So it's not God separated himself, but God created humans. and creatures. So God and humans are separate. They're not, you know what I mean? Humans cannot become God. Okay, again, Hinduism, Buddhism, they say all of us are already God. Theism says, no, there is God, whether that's a lot of gods, many gods, whatever, but we ourselves, we can never become God. All right? We're going to go over theistic religion today. All right, let's read from Genesis. Okay, Abby, if you could read. Actually, let's pray really quickly and then we'll start. Father, as we go into your word, I pray that you would open up our hearts. God, as we study different religions, may you enlighten us and help us to see what are some of the differences that we have, and also to understand what we believe as well. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Abby, if you could read the first one for us.
Now the Lord said to Abram, go up from your country and into your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make you great, so that you will be blessed. I will bless those who bless you, and give you desires you will curse you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed.
Okay, so if you guys grew up in the church, you guys are pretty familiar with the story, right? Abraham, God comes to Abraham and says, hey, go. Okay, now I want you guys to, as you guys are reading this, try to figure out what religion, okay, we're going to be talking about today. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. Mike, right?
Yeah.
If you could read the next one for us.
Genesis 15:2-5. But Abraham said, O Lord God, what will you give me? For I continue childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus. And Abraham said, Behold, you have given me no offspring. The member of my household will be my heir. And behold, this will the Lord do to him. This man shall not be your heir. Your very own son shall be your heir. And he brought him outside and said, Look toward heaven and number the stars, if you are able to number them. Then he said to him, So shall your offspring be.
Okay, so God talks to Abram. He's not Abraham yet, Abram. And then he basically says, go, and I will make you a great nation. But Abram says, okay, there's a problem, God. What's the problem? Okay, I don't have any sons. I don't have any sons. Okay, how are you gonna make me a big nation if I don't have a son? Oh, maybe your plan is I have a servant here, so through the servant that's what you're trying to do. And God's saying, no. Let's go to the next one. Mina?
Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had a daughter, and she said, You know the Egyptians were going to this Hagar. And Sarah said to Abram, Behold, now the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. Go into my servant and make me that I shall have two children by her. Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. So after Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai and Abram's wife took Hagar the Egyptian, pursued and gave her to Abram, her husband, as a wife. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, she looked with contempt on her.
Okay, so what's going on? So again, Abraham, he's like, God's going to make a great nation out of me, but still no son. God said, not servant. So, who comes? Sarai comes and says, okay, sleep with my servant. And then, make sure your lineage, your seed gets, big. Okay, so let's see what happens next. Stephen? The next Stephen? Or is it Stephen? Steve?
I can't really know.
Just go with Steve? Oh, okay, no problem. Danny?
Hagar bore Abram after Abram a son, and Abram found Abimelech his son. Hagar bore Ishmael. Abraham was 86 years old, and Hagar bore Ishmael.
Okay, so Abraham has his first son. What's his name? Ishmael. Okay, we're going to come back to that. All right, let's go to the last one. Sarah?
The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord gave to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham his son in his old age at the time of which God had spoken. Abraham called him Abraham his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore him Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old, and his son Isaac was born.
Okay. Okay, so about 25 years later, after God called him, okay, finally, he actually has a son. And his name is Isaac. Okay, so if this is all confusing because you don't know the story, okay, I'll make it very easy for you. So, Abraham has a wife named Sarah. But Sarah says, oh, I have a servant named Hagar, sleep with her because we're not having babies. So, Abraham and Hagar has baby, and his name is Ishmael. And then later, that nation becomes Islam. He goes to Saudi Arabia, and then from that lineage comes Ishmael or Islam. Okay, so later we'll talk about that. All right, Sarah and Abraham later, when he's 100 years old, he has a baby. What's his name again? Isaac. And do you guys remember who Isaac marries? Rebecca. And then Isaac later has two sons. They're twins. What are their names? Jacob and Esau. Later, Jacob, his name changes to Israel. And so, what nation or religion comes out of that? Judaism or Israelites. Okay? So later on, there's a guy named Jesus who comes out from these Jewish people, and he says, ta-da, we'll talk about Christianity next week. But basically, he's the founder of Christianity. Okay? So, who is the father? What religions is Abraham father of? Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. It's kind of crazy. Okay? And most people don't think about that. Today we're going to be going over Islam. Okay? So number 4, Abraham is the father of, okay, according to all three of these religions, they would say he's the father of both Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Okay, basic info. How many percent of the world are Muslims? What say you? What do you guys think? Just random guesses. 15? Okay. 10? Okay. 18, 20? He's actually getting closer. Okay, it's actually 24%. Okay, they're number 2 in the whole world. Okay, number 2 religion in the whole world. They're actually the youngest as well. Okay, out of like the major religions, like the big religions. Okay, the founder of, it's not Buddhism, it's Islam. I need to change that. The founder of Islam is, what's his name? Muhammad. Not Muhammad Ali, okay? Muhammad. Okay, he was born 570 and he died 632 CE or BCE. Or sorry, AD. Yeah. All right. Let me tell you guys very very concisely how Muslim, like basically how Muhammad came up with this, how he established this religion and how it got big. But I'm going to do it very short because our focus is what they believe more than the story itself. Okay, basically Muhammad, he grew up in Saudi Arabia. So if you guys don't know where Saudi Arabia is, let me show you guys a map really quick. Okay, so do you guys see that right here? So Israel, this is where Abraham and they were. And then Sarah and Hagar didn't get along. Okay, and then so they kicked them out, and then so they came down here, and then this is Saudi Arabia area. Okay, his descendants over here, they grew here. Okay, so he was born around Mecca, this area. Okay. All right. So what happened was both of his parents died at a pretty young age, very very young age, and so he became an orphan right away. Okay, so he experienced death from a very, very young age. So after that, he lived with his uncle, who was a merchant. So merchant meaning like he would go around and like camels and like donkeys and then like sell stuff. That's what he did, and that's what he became as well. But there was like a longing in his heart because, again, probably most likely because his parents died at a young age, so he realized that life is not easy. And so he actually started studying a lot of different religions. During that time, Christianity was quite big, but there were a lot of other different religions in that Saudi Arabia area. Okay? So he studied different religions, and he liked some of these different religions that he studied. One day, as he was praying, angel came to him and basically said, "You are my prophet. And, like I'm calling you. So go and spread this message that I have." Now, we're going to talk about what that message is a little bit later. Okay? So eventually, long story short, he actually becomes a governor. Okay? So I'm going to make it really short, but he goes to Medina later. And in Medina, they actually decided, he was a really good businessman. And so he was really good with people. And so they said, "Oh, hey, we're a very small town. If you actually become our governor, then we could become successful." And that's exactly what happened. Okay? So basically, by the time he dies, okay, he unites all of Saudi Arabia altogether by the time he's dead. So he's a very, very good politician. And you guys know from history, okay, the Ottoman Empire, they start going over everywhere, okay, and conquering. And that's where, the whole, the Holy War happened. Christianity and Islam, they started killing each other. It was a big mess. But that's how Islam became really big, really quickly. Okay? All right. So let's go over what their beliefs basically essentially are. Okay? So let's go over their belief. They say, number one, Abraham, Moses. So basically all the different prophets in the Old Testament, they're all prophets. They're all our fathers. Jesus is also a prophet as well. Okay, so they like Jesus, they like Moses, they like Abraham, they like the Old Testament. Okay? But they said, okay, Jesus was just a prophet. However, after Jesus died, okay, his disciples, they decided to change stuff up. They decided to lie and say, "Oh, he's actually God." Okay? So they say, no. Islam say, no, Jesus was just a man. He was just and they believe he's one of the greatest prophets, but not God. Okay? And so they said the disciples lied, and so therefore, God had to reach out to Muhammad and basically set things straight because the disciples lied about it, and Christianity was getting bigger and bigger, and so this lie was going around. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so Muhammad, again, he believes that he's a prophet as well. He's the last one that's going to set the story straight, basically. Does that make sense? All right. So Christians messed up, basically. All right. Their core belief is that humans are born good. Okay, we're all good. But the problem is that we keep rebelling against God. We keep trying to be like God. Okay? So our goal as Muslims is to surrender. Is to submit to God. It's to remember that God is God and I am just a human being. Okay? So the word Islam actually means peace comes through surrender. Okay, so the word surrender is a big core word in Islam. All right. So what are some of their beliefs? Okay, they're called 5 pillars, and then these 5 things will help you to basically surrender. Okay. So the first one is creed. Okay, creed this is their prayer. Okay, they pray, I forgot if it's 7 times or 8 times. It's when they wake up, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then when they sleep, maybe it's 6 times. I forgot if was it? Oh, it's 5 times. It's 5 times. Yeah, it's 5 times. Okay, but this is what they pray. Okay, so they pray there is no God. So meaning like there's no multiple gods, specifically Jesus. Okay, there's only one God. Okay, and Muhammad is his prophet. So this is what they pray 5 times a day. Number 2, like I just talked about, prayer. Okay, why do they pray like this? Why do they get on their floor, on their forehead? Again, the idea of surrender. Okay, it's me, I am surrendering before God. Okay, I keep thinking that I could be like God. No, I need to remember I'm not God. I need to surrender. There's only one God. And they also always they always pray towards Mecca. Okay, Mecca is right here. Okay, towards the east. Well, if we're in the west, they go towards the east. Okay? All right, next one. Number 3 is charity. So they give 2.5%. Now some Christians say, oh, Muslims, we give 10%, we give tithe, they only give 2.5. But they actually give 2.5 net worth. Okay, so like for Christians, most Christians just give 10% based on what their salary is, right? But Muslims, they actually give 2.5 of, like, if they have land, they have house, they have car, whatever they have, they give 2.5% of that. How they calculate it and stuff like that, I don't know. Ask your Muslim friends. Okay. Next one is called Ramadan. Some of you guys are familiar with this. Basically, it's a month of fasting. So it's interesting. They fast. Okay, when the sun is up. During that month, the reason why they fast this month is because that's the month that Muhammad received his vision. Okay, so they want to remember that. They celebrate that. Okay, and so they eat. It's not that during the whole month they don't eat or drink or anything. They only drink and eat lightly. Well, depending on what kind of Muslim they are. But they eat. They're supposed to eat small portions when the sun goes down. Okay. Last one is pilgrimage, which is like the holy city for the Islam, because that's where Muhammad was born, and that's also where his grave is at as well. And so right here, this is Mecca. Okay, this is where his tomb is at. And so they say at least once in your life, try to go there. Of course, people who are richer, they try to go once a year. Okay. Most of the people here, as you see, wear white. The reason is because, again, when you come before God, again, because most of the time we dress elaborately and it kind of shows our status. The whole point is you're coming before God, you're equal in front of God. So whether your status, you're rich or you're poor, it doesn't matter. You just come simply before God. That's the whole concept. And so you come and you bow before God. You worship God there. So these are the 5 pillars. Once again, creed, prayer, charity, okay, Ramadan fasting, and then pilgrimage. Now, if you do these 5 things well, what's going to happen is end of your life, there's going to be like a scale. Okay, so Allah is going to have scale in front of you. And so it's going to measure whether you did these 5 pillars well or not. So if you did these 5 pillars well, then what happens? Then you go to heaven. If you don't do these 5 pillars, then you go to hell. Okay, so again, your goal is to do these 5 pillars. And that's why many Muslims are very devoted. Because again, this is what's going to get you into heaven. So you got to make sure that you got to do these things very well. By the way, even if like you are like a little bit over, that's good enough. Okay, as long as the scale tips towards up or down or whatever. All right. They also believe. By the way, this is not like an Islam pic. I just couldn't find it. But they also believe in different levels of heaven. Okay, so obviously the highest level is God, and then like a little bit lower tier would be all like it'll be Jesus and all the patriarchs. Okay, so these are the different. So obviously even the first layer of heaven is amazing, but the more you get, it's even better. Okay. So again, that's why these 5 pillars, it's going to be very important, so that you can get to higher level of heaven. Now, extreme Muslims. So I'm saying extreme because there's always like extreme people within like even Christianity, Buddhism, all religions. So I'm not trying to pick on Muslims, but this is how like terrorists, right? This is what they say. They say, hey, if you die for Allah, then you're going to get to higher level of heaven. Okay? All right. But in the end, whether you get into heaven or not, even if you do these 5 pillars very, very faithfully, in the end, Allah is the final judge. Okay? So He will decide in the end. Okay, any questions or clarifications? Things that I didn't make sense? Again, I'm not a Islam scholar by any means. So talk to if you guys have Muslim friends, talk to them, and you guys could fact check, and you guys could come and tell me what I'm wrong with. But any other questions on what Islam, the beliefs are? Okay, if not, now let's go down to 5C, fundamental questions. Now that I gave you guys some information about Islam, and now you guys are put your Muslim hat on. By the way, Islam is the religion, and then Muslim, that's people like Christianity and Christians. Okay, so how would you answer these 4 questions? Origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. So just with people next to you guys, don't write it yet because you have to. If you're wrong, then you have to scribble it out. So just with people next to you guys. Now with this mind, how would you answer origin, meaning, morality, destiny? Go for it. I won't be able to.
So you surrender and then eventually
That would be the best, right? I'm actually curious about the morality. The fact that it is very what is their morality?
When do they think that Judgment Day will be?
When you die.
When you die? So do they believe in like, so for everyone it's going to be different, because for us, we believe Jesus is going to come, and then that's when the work ends. But then everyone is different. So,
I think so. I believe so.
then why do they try to evangelize so much? Like try to turn everyone into Islam?
It's the truth.
What do they care about? Because for us, more we spread the word, more we think we should have Jesus will come and then we want people to know about Jesus love, but like, I don't know why because like they try to cover everyone with Islam, right?
Because it's the truth. Christians are false. They keep saying Jesus is God. There's only one God, but so of course they need to know the truth. Okay, so you guys ready? All right, let's see how well you guys did. All right, number 1. So I'm a Muslim. Where did I come from then? So similar to what? Similar to Judaism and Christianity, which is in 7 days God created the heavens and the earth. What was that?
Do they believe like 6 days creation?
Yeah, of course, because they believe in the Old Testament. Yeah. They just believe that some of the parts have been, changed by the disciples. Yeah. But they believe in the creation account. Yeah. Okay, what's the meaning? What's the purpose of my life? Surrender. Surrender to Allah. Okay, that's really the purpose of my life, is to surrender. Okay, so morality then. How should I live my life? What's good and bad? Okay, doing the 5 pillars. Right, the 5 pillars. Of course, they have their kosher law and different things, but really the essence of it is doing these 5, halal and this kind of things. Oh yeah, kosher is Judaism. Yeah, halal. So they have, like no drinking and these kind of things. But again, in essence, it's really going to be the 5 pillars.
So they have a little more detailed laws.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Like the 5 pillars itself doesn't give you like detail what to do.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. So they do have other laws as well. Destiny, where do I go after I die? What happens after I die? Okay, I go in front of God, the ultimate judge, and that He will measure my life, whether I did these 5 pillars or not. But in the end, He decides. Okay, and there's nothing I can say against that. All right, very good. So let's go into discussion time now. What's something new, interesting that you learned today? What additional questions do you guys have? So just with people next to you guys, go for it.